Hi, welcome to Spec Hunter. Today, we have some surprising news for Mac fans, and it might not be what you were hoping for. Mark Gurman, who is usually spot on with Apple leaks, has reported that Apple will not release any Macs with the M5 chip in 2025. That means no M5 MacBook Pro this year, and no M5 MacBook Air either. It's a decision that breaks Apple's usual rhythm, and it's left a lot of people wondering why, instead of arriving this year, both the MacBook Air and MacBook Pro with the M5 chip are now expected to launch in early 2026. For the Air, an early year update is nothing unusual. Apple has done that before, but for the Pro, this is a big shift. Normally, the MacBook Pro gets refreshed on a yearly schedule. The M4, M4 Pro, and M4 Max models came out in October 2024 and started shipping in November. If this report is right, it means we'll go a full year without a new Pro model, something that hasn't happened in a long time. The last time Apple skipped a year like this was with the M2 Pro and M2 Max MacBook Pros, which launched in early 2023 instead of late 2022. So it's not totally unheard of, but it is rare. Gurman hasn't given a specific reason for this delay. He just says the timing is fluid, meaning it could still change. But realistically, it's unlikely we'll see the M5 before 2026. This delay raises another big question. What happens to the redesigned MacBook Pro that's rumored to have an old display and a thinner body? If the M5 chip is delayed, will the redesign be delayed too? Gurman hasn't confirmed anything here, so all we can do is guess. There are two possibilities. Apple might release two MacBook Pro updates in 2026. One early in the year with the M5 chip and another later in the year with the redesign and the M6 chip. Or they could push the redesign all the way to 2027. Launching two Pro models in the same year might sound strange, but Apple has done similar things before. The M2 Pro and M2 Max models came out in January 2023, and the M3 models replaced them 10 months later. Even further back, the original 16-inch Intel MacBook Pro replaced the 15-inch version just months after a refresh. So when Apple has a major design change ready, they aren't afraid to release models close together. Still, for most people, the M5 MacBook Pro might not be worth buying at all. Even if it does arrive in early 2026, it's expected to be more of a spec bump, slightly faster and more efficient, but nothing game-changing. Apple Silicon has been powerful enough for years. Unless you're doing professional-level work like video production or 3D rendering, the M3 and M4 chips can handle just about anything you throw at them. And when the M5 comes out, prices on? The M4 and even M3 models will drop, especially in Apple's refurbished store and through third-party sellers. That could make older models a much better value if you're going to wait for something truly new. The old redesign is the one to watch. OLED is a big deal for a MacBook. We've already seen what it can do on the 2024 iPad Pro deeper blacks. Richer colors, amazing contrast, better HDR, and improved power efficiency. Apple is using a double-stacked OLED panel, which allows for brighter displays and longer lifespan. That's important for Macs because many people keep them for 5, 6, or even 10 years. OLED also helps make devices thinner, and that ties into Apple's rumored plan for a slimmer MacBook Pro. We've seen the company push for thin designs again with the iPad Pro and with rumors of a super slim iPhone 17 model. The MacBook Pro could be next. Now, we all remember the issues with the ultra-thin 2016 MacBooks, the unreliable butterfly keyboard, fewer ports, and smaller batteries. But this time, Apple seems to be approaching it more carefully. OLED naturally makes the lid thinner. Apple Silicon runs cooler, so there's less need for large cooling systems. And if Apple uses silicon carbon battery technology, they can store more energy in smaller cells. This is the same tech that lets some very thin smartphones hold massive batteries. If it comes to the MacBook Pro, we could see lighter and thinner models that still have all-day battery life. That's the kind of thinness upgrade people can actually get behind. There's been some speculation about the Touch Bar making a return in the redesign, but honestly, that seems unlikely. Most people prefer the physical function row for its reliability and feel. The only way we might see something like the Touch bar again is if Apple experiments with dual-screen laptops or foldable designs in the future. For now, a comeback doesn't seem realistic. One of the most surprising recent leaks has nothing to do with the M5. It's about the M3 Ultra. A leaker found code references in an iOS 18 build pointing to a 14-inch and 16-inch MacBook Pro with this chip. The code names were J514D and J5160, with the D likely meaning desktop class. The M3 Ultra would be a monster, a 32-core CPU, an 80-core GPU, and support for up to 512 gigabytes of unified memory. That's double the core count of the M4 Max. So why didn't Apple release it? The most likely reason is heat and battery life. The M3 Ultra is incredibly powerful, but that also means it produces more heat and uses more energy. In a laptop, that could lead to overheating, loud fans, and a battery that drains too quickly. Apple doesn't want to return to the problems of the Intel era, when MacBook Pros could get uncomfortably hot under load. But the fact that Apple tested this shows they're serious about trying to bring desktop-level performance to a portable machine. With a redesigned chassis and better cooling, an Ultra version of the MacBook Pro could eventually happen. If Apple solves the thermal challenges, they could even launch one with the M5 generation, making the update much more exciting. But that would also push prices up. The most expensive MacBook Pro right now is around $7,200, and an Ultra model could easily push toward $10,000. That's not something most people would buy. But for professionals who need the most power possible, it could be worth it. So, where does that leave us? The short version is that 2025 won't be the year for the M5. Apple is breaking its usual schedule, and all signs point to 2026 being the big one. We could see a simple M5 refresh early in the year, followed by a major OLED redesign later, possibly with an M6 chip and maybe even an Ultra variant for high-end buyers. That would make 2026 one of the most exciting years for the MacBook Pro in recent memory. Until then, the decision for buyers is simple. If you need a MacBook now, the M3 and M4 models are excellent, and you'll likely find great deals as newer models approach. If you can wait, the old redesign will bring more noticeable improvements than the M5 alone ever could. Whether you're chasing performance, display quality, or a new look, that's when it will be worth upgrading. Apple's MacBook Pro lineup is heading for some big changes, but the company is taking its time. The delay might be frustrating, but if it means better technology and smarter design, the wait could pay off. For now, all we can do is watch the leaks, weigh our options, and decide whether to buy now or hold out for what's coming next. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into Apple's plans, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. We're aiming for 20,000 subscribers, and your support helps us get there. I'll see you in the next one.